What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's good to see you today on the Speak and See Show. I ask you to like and subscribe and click that notification button so when I get information out, you can get information. And here we go about talking about the SBA, Eidl programs, and everything small business that you need to know as far as your Eidl grants, Eidl loans, SBA, PPP, stuff like that is concerned. Today, I'm not going to go over about how bad the government has screwed us politically and legislation has thrown us a curveball on getting that Eidl grants and or Eidl loans. We're going to go over a couple other things that are very significant to the times. That is, if you are in the queue for getting your Eidl loan program, make sure you keep that thing, keep your application in process. Maybe once in a while, give the SBA a call and find out where your Eidl grant is. The Eidl program is the relief program ends on December 31st, 2021. It ends, however, if you've already filled out an application for it, you should be getting in the queue for it. But if you're looking to get the $5,000 supplemental Eidl grant, that ends even sooner because you're going to have your application in the queue a little bit before December 31st in order to get those funds, because once those funds, December 31st hits in 2021, the Eidl supplemental grant is going to be nixed. If you haven't got your money, or even if you're in the queue, it doesn't matter. It's over. It's done. They're taking the rest of the money and they are giving it back to whoever the SBA wants to give it to at the time. The politicians will decide. But here we go. We're going to go over a few things here that you guys should know. The Small Business Administration is letting business owners know right now that its COVID-19 Economic Injury Disaster Loan program ends December 2021, but its related $5,000 grant ends even sooner. Both the Eidl and targeted Eidl advance, which offered the small business owners in low-income community areas a $10,000 cash grant, whether they qualified for the loan or not, expire at the end of 2021. Small business owners can apply up until that date, and the SBA will continue to process. The SBA Administrator Isabel Guzman said this on November 16th, adding that there is still plenty of funding left. But later on in this video, we're going to go over the things that you really need to know as this program winds down. But the supplemental targeted Eidl advance, which offered the extra $5,000 to small business owners that qualified for the $10,000 grant, but have suffered a deeper loss of 50% or more due to the COVID pandemic, have much less time to apply. A lot less time to apply than that, since those grants have been processed and dispersed. They have to be processed and dispersed by the end of the year. That was per Isabel Guzman's own words. She said that, and I tend to believe her when she talks about cutting money out. I don't tend to believe her so much when she's talking about cutting money in, do you? Okay, but anyway, the supplemental targeted advance is the only one that will have to be processed and dispersed and distributed before December 31st. It will be the only one that has to be processed before December 31st. Not the only one that has to be applied for, but processed. That means your constituents who are eligible for that additional $5,000 grant will have to apply by approximately December 10th. Guzman said this at the hearing the other day on the 16th to Representative Carolyn Bordeaux, the Democratic from Georgia. That leaves us a few short weeks for small businesses owners to apply. So if you haven't applied for that supplemental, you need to go off and do that. There'll be a need to prove your 50% economic loss is greater during an 8-week period beginning March 2nd of 2020 or later compared to the same time in 2019. So you will have to have proof of where your decline is within an 8-week period of that year. The business also needs to have 10 or fewer employees and located in a low-income area. There we go again. As depicted by the SBA mapping tool. Some small businesses owners argued that the low-income area requirement, we're arguing, guys, we know that it's an unfair map. It should have never been there, and we are going to try our best to get this re-legislated to get that for everybody here. We're not going to quit that fight here, guys. Trust me, we're not going to quit that fight. That's what we started on. That's what we will end on. And when we all get it, then we'll quit the fight. But there could be more funding along the way in the Build Back Better, as the SBA would get billions and more dollars to, it'd be put back in order to refresh funding in certain areas and, maybe get the existing loans, of course, the existing loans, their money and their grants and their loans and create more programs in a revamped system that they're looking to do in the legislation being debated in Congress right now. The Eidl program, here's some statistics on it. I'll give them to you. The Eidl program has made 3.84 million loans as up to November 4th for about $292.7 billion, according to the SBA data. That's an increase of about 6,007 loans since the SBA reported the data on October 21st for a total increase of $9 billion. So that was a $9 billion increase within the last 3 weeks, which is a lot of money that they have been putting out over the last 3 weeks. And we've seen a few praise reports on that process right here. As far as the comments that I've been seeing, we've been getting, yes, a lot of people have been getting approved lately. What it does not include in it are any renewals of the large-scale small business grant programs industry groups have been pushing for, such as the money for the Restaurant Revitalization Fund. That's not even in the new Build Back Better bill. And they have stripped the old bill from all the RRF. It's been used up and not given to the restaurants for the revitalization fund that they were promised, but never got. The Eidl program is expiring on December 31st, 2021. Now we'll go over some things that you really should know about the Eidl program, and here we go. That means that the small business owners can apply up until the end of that day, up until December 31st, 2021. You can apply up until that. Not that they have to be approved by that day. The SBA will process the applications made up to that date or until the program runs out of funding, whichever comes first, which I don't think it's going to run out anytime soon. Still has over $100 billion in it. The agency is strongly encouraging borrowers to apply now rather than wait. Can small business owners request an increase in their Eidl? As far as if you haven't applied for an increase on your first loan, you need to log into your portal to do so. If you want the increase on your first loan, or if you haven't applied for it, log into your portal and apply for the increase there. You should not apply for another loan, which would flag your increase as fraudulent. So if you have more than one application in the queue, then you're going to be flagged. Can I apply for multiple increases? Business owners can apply for increases multiple times, but can only receive a total set of loans equal to what they're originally qualified for. So if business owners originally were eligible for a $700,000 loan, but they already received $500,000, they would be eligible to increase it another $200,000 to get it up to their max. So if you've already maxed out your increase of your loan, no, you cannot apply for another one. Another thing we need to hit real quick is how you can appeal the Eidl decision if you put in an application for a loan and you were rejected for it. If you were rejected for an Eidl loan and you need to appeal that, you can go to your portal and there should be a button in your portal that says Request Reconsideration. You should be able to click that button and it will send you to a link via email, and they will instruct you on how to go about doing that. Applicants requesting reconsideration on a declined increase must submit their request via email at pdcreconsideration@sba.gov. Applicants requesting reconsideration on declined targeted advance and supplemental targeted advance must submit their request via email. So if you've been declined for a targeted advance, you must request it via email at targeted advance reevaluation at sba.gov. Targeted advance reevaluation at sba.gov. I'll go ahead and put that link down below if you have not applied. When in doubt, apply. Now, for those of you who have not applied for the targeted advance grant, thinking you're out of the area, or you may have gotten that email that said, look, click on here, see if you're in the area to get the targeted Eidl advance. If you're in the area, you may get it. If you're not, you won't. So you didn't even apply. Well, you should try, because I've seen people who said, I'm a little bit out of the area, but they still gave me the grant. Give it a shot. You gotta do it through an email at targeted advance reevaluation at sba.gov. I'll put it's right here. Send them an email and say, I would like to apply for the targeted Eidl advance. Put inside there, leave them your name and phone number if you prefer, and your application number. Click it up and put them an email and say, I would like to apply for the targeted Eidl advance, please. Thank you. Just make it short and sweet. There, you're in. you've done it. You've applied, you've beat the deadline. Hopefully you can get that deadline before, December 14th would be good, but by the end of the year would be fine. Now, the ball you would get rolling with this would be that you would be sending them a reevaluation for your Eidl grant, which they would look over and say, oh, you never applied for that extra, say, $9,000 Eidl grant. And then with that, they would send you an application to apply for the rest of your $9,000 Eidl grant, or you'll just see how it works out, but you would get yourself back in process through this via email. And what we're trying to do here is open a door to the SBA to get back in to reapply kind of for our Eidl grant, the rest of our Eidl grant that we'd never gotten or never had a chance to apply for or didn't apply at the time because we thought the map would definitely just discontinue us without even trying. So a lot of people did that. Me being one of them, understandably so, because it made more sense not to do it if they're not going to give it to me. But to go ahead and try this opens the door back up and at least gives you a shot at getting that $10,000 Eidl grant, the rest of it per se. So hopefully this helps. Hopefully you guys like, subscribe, click that notification button, and we are going to continue to fight for that policy map to be removed. So if you do not get the Eidl grant, please don't take it to heart too much. We'll take it to the voting floors instead when the time comes, like we tried to last election, and see if it works better on this next round. But anyway, hopefully this helps you guys and gets you back in the door and gives you a little bit more encouragement and a little bit more information and education to get back into that fight and keep your business afloat. Guys, thanks for watching again. Like, subscribe, and somebody say, hey, I want my 10K.